An alien girl who traveled across the universe seeking revenge against Straze for bringing ruin to her world. She is determined to make Straze pay for what he has done to her friends and restore her homeworld. Wild Wave, a skill that attacks a single enemy. The damage dealt by this skill increases as the enemy's health decreases. Reko's Blessing, a buff skill that increases the defense of all allies while also granting barriers, reducing a significant portion of incoming damage. The strength of the barrier increases proportional to Luluca's attack. Wave of Vengeance, a skill that attacks all enemies with a high chance of decreasing defense for 2 turns. The damage dealt by this skill increases every time it is used, creating the potential for high damage given enough time. Luluca is an ice elemental mage who can decrease the defense of all enemies while increasing the defense of all allies. Wave of Vengeance has a high chance of decreasing the defense of all enemies and can be very beneficial when used at the start of the battle, as Reko's Blessing grants increased defense and barriers to all allies. It's best utilized right before an enemy uses a powerful skill. Also, barrier strength increases proportional to Luluca's attack, so equipping her for high attack is recommended.
What's up, my legends? Scion, we're back. Alright, so we got Luluca today. Boom. She's here. We already knew from the leaks and everything else like that. I was hoping for a little bit more content, but we're going to talk about that in a second. Pretty much, she is an ice mage, which I'm like, you could have did anything but ice. We have such an influx, especially with Dizzy just being here before. And she kind of does what other people do, but we're going to talk about that too. Pretty much she's an ice mage, and she can decrease defense of all enemies while increasing defense of all allies, which is good for PvE. Very good. Might even be a little bit meta for PvE and help you out more in the Abyss. You could necessarily put her and Dizzy together as a team, and like, what is really going to happen to you after that point? Dizzy's going to be debuffing people. And then on top of that, you have her coming in on top of that defense debuffing people. You're going to have a shield. They're going to hardly be able to hit you. That's going to be type broken. Especially if you throw in, I can't remember her name, but Bird Girl. I can't remember her name right now, but you throw her in there to let her throw in a little bit of heals over the top of that. Like, how are you supposed to get injured unless they stop you from attacking? That's PvE. I don't know about PvP. It depends on how fast she is, PvP. But then again, you can kind of probably make her fast, so it might be a thing. And on top of that, she's a waifu, so somebody might actually, you know, want to get her just because she's a waifu. Alright, so Wild Wave attacks with an intense elemental force. See, this is what I mean, elemental force. It didn't have to be an ice unit. It could have been something else. We have too many, like, there's just too many ice units. I don't think they actually looked or thought about that. Damage is dealt proportional to the amount of enemy's lost health. So this is kind of an executioner type of move. The more damage to the enemy, the stronger this Wild Wave is going to get, which there are certain artifacts that will help you out with that, so you might get some interesting damage off the S1. Reko's Blessing, with the Blessing of Stars, grants defense and barrier to allies for 2 turns. Barrier strength proportion to the caster's attack, which is interesting. You can soul burn it, and the cooldown is decreased. The skill cooldown is decreased by 2 turns. Wave of Vengeance. Before, attacks all enemies with power ruin with 50% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns. After, attacks all enemies with power ruin, 50%, maximum 75% chance to decrease for 2 turns. Damage dealt increases every time using the skill, and it can stack up to 3 times. Wow. So wait, wouldn't... Alright. I don't know, maybe Dizzy's artifact might be a little bit better, but then again, her artifact, when you get down here to the bottom, it can max out and get to 100%. They have 100% chance to decrease the cooldown by 1 turn when using a non-attack skill, which is only her 2. And it's on the cooldown. I'm kind of, wouldn't it be, well, it'd be better to make her fast. again, like they're just like this character is like really pushing being a speed character, which he probably really isn't a speed character, maybe, but this is like pushing you towards that, which again makes the other gear kind of useless for her when she needs to be fast and have more turns to make advantage of this skill ramp up. I think they might have to rework this. Oh no, we'll see. They might have to rework this, because how are you going to ever take full advantage of this? Most fights are over, even in PvE fights. The longer period of time, she might have a good ramp up, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, so we have the drop rate up, Luluca, Spirit's Breath, and as you can see right here, and so you have the side story, which, you know, just more goodies for us to mess around with. If you don't have enough to actually summon on her, then you can mess around with it. I have a little bit of an idea about this when I get to the end, and some people may or may not agree with me, but players also receive urgent missions while playing the side story. Same goodies that you also can just, you know, get away with. I don't see anything new with any of this, and that's it for the notes. No changes. All right, so this is a little bit light side because they're ramping up for episode 2. All right, as cool as this character is, most of the veterans don't need this character. We don't. We already have long-standing characters that kind of already do the job that she does. She combines two the classes in one, which makes her good and probably meta, because she can shield and she can DPS all in one class, and that's what the end does. The end pretty much shields the same way. That's what Angelica does, and a few other people have shields too. So she does that inherently with her 2 skill, which is pretty cool. She also defense downs, which is what Balana does, which is what Cecilia does, and Ren and a few other characters. So she kind of has like multiple kits all in one, and she has an executioner move, which is what other characters also do well. So she's a multiple characters all in one, which make her good, but at the same time, you don't actually need her unless you're a newer player, because we already have these types of characters set in roles. So this is kind of a luxury character at the end of the day. I know, like I said, I know some people, or even most people, might not agree with that, but this is a luxury character. At this point, you don't necessarily need her if you're a veteran. You could probably go after her, and I'll probably go after her just because she's here, and I'll give a few tries on it. But you want to hear the actual positive truth about this? You ready? The trap. It's a trap. Episode 2 is coming, and Luluca is designed to drain your currency. Most of you veterans out there, you're probably going to, because she's actually a really good character and a meta-like character, but this character is a trap banner. It's designed to drain your currency before episode 2. So keep that in mind. You can go ahead and get her, and she'll be just another character to have standing next to the rest of the characters that you have that do the same damn thing. But, you know, I'm just being honest with you guys, so it's up to you if you want to go after a character that, you know, you pretty much, she combines, and don't get me wrong, this is why it's a good trap. It's a good idea, and somebody is devious at Smilegate. Somebody is really devious because they threw a meta-ass character out here for you guys to run around with. And that, it was a good idea. It's good business sense. But I'm just telling you right now, we have the new episode coming, and I'm gonna give it probably 30 tries. Maybe even 40. I'm not using all my stuff though. I think I got up to 70 tries that I can do. I'm gonna use half of it. I'm gonna use half of it and try. And after that, if it just doesn't work, it just doesn't work. But this is obvious, and historically in this game, if you notice, I don't know if you guys know this, when there is a good character, there's a trap banner. This happened with Luluca. The patch notes is light when that is like that. It's like they know. It happened with Luluca, and it happened with I can't remember the dude's name, the dude who resurrects. It happened with his banner too. Those patch notes was light too. Every time that something big is about to happen, they throw out something meta to make you spend up your currency, and then the following week is the hotness, and then everybody was like, holy shit, I just spent everything. It's just what they do. And like I can't even be bad because this is an excellent. Like I can't even be bad. You can't be bad. You just can't. It's good. It's really good. So my advice to you is Luluca is actually good on paper and looks like she'll be a very good meta unit if you don't have Lana, if you don't have Diane, if you don't have Angelica, if you don't like, there's a lot of characters that people don't have right now anyway. A lot of people don't have Diane who weren't here for it. A lot of people are unlucky and don't have Angelica too somehow, which is weird, but it's like she does like a whole bunch of roles all at once. And she has an executioner S1, which means that the heavier, like she ramps up really hard. She ramps up with her S3 and she ramps up with her S1. Her S1 ramps up because the less health she's going to do more damage, and her S3 the stack builds over the course of time. So the longer fight, the more dangerous she is, and she's just going to start. It's just going to start ramping up. So that's actually a really cool dynamic, which makes her kind of like an executioner type of unit. But you don't really necessarily need her unless you don't have the other characters that I mentioned. So it's up to you guys. You guys be legendary. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all the support. Peace.